Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Believe in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh. And over there is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holly.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Good day, sir.
What's happening? What's going on, man? 54-19. That's what's happening.
Was that how many it was? Yeah, 35-point win. That's not normal. That's not regular. We, of course, are presented by our friends at Bet Online. Thank you so much. BetOnline.ag is where you go. You get a 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit if you use the promo code BLEAV. BLEAV. That is Believe. Don't ask us why we spell Believe the way we spell it. Just type it in and get your 50%. And then if the Cowboys win by 35 and you bet on them to cover, you'll be in good shape. The line against the Texans is already 16.5, and I'm not going to offer advice on that because that's a big-ass number in an NFL game. But they've got you covered for every single sport there at BetOnline. So whether you want to use the app or betonline.ag, they got you hooked up. Use the promo code BELIEVE. I don't think they're going to win by 35, but holy cow, what an avalanche of a fourth quarter. I kind of was mad because I do a morning show now on 97.1 The Freak. And so on Sunday nights, I want to go to bed. And once I knew who was going to win, I was getting kind of pissed at Jeff Saturday for calling pass plays because I was like, dude, your quarterback is afraid. You can't block him. You guys are dead. You should start taking knees with 8 minutes left and get us the hell out of here so I can go to bed. So I'm just mad at Jeff Saturday. That's my opening statement.
I'm right there with you. You do a morning show, I have to be up and get to work. I got to work out and then get to work. And I have to do a post-game show. So not only do I have to watch the game to the very end, I got to do a post-game show after that and then get up at 5:30 in the morning to go work out. So, yeah, I'm with you. I thought Jeff Saturday should have taken a whole bunch of knees and just waved the right flag a lot earlier than he did in the fourth quarter when he took the victory. Can you take the victory kneel down losing knee? No, he took the knee.
Yeah, they did the very last play. He took a knee. Yeah, you can do I don't know what kind of shift. You wouldn't use the Landry shift. I don't know if the Cowboys have a Campo shift. But like if they were losing, they could do that. And by the way, I just want to put this out there. I love Dave Campo. His teams were awful. Dave Campo is one of the sweetest men you'll ever meet. I love that man.
Has one of the nicest Rolex watch collections that you'll find. No, seriously.
I don't
one of the nicest Rolex collections that you will ever see. OG style, like what the Rolex gave.
Cowboys money spends. It spends. It works. So we're on Odell Beckham watch.
I was going to say, see, look at that. That's a professional. I was going to say, speaking of spending money.
Or speaking of watches.
Yes.
We're currently watching for Odell Beckham.
You sound like you've done this before.
To see if he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy, which I do think he's going to be. But I'm going to tell you, we'll talk about the game. But today is an Odell day because he's visiting the Cowboys today, allegedly going to be at the Maverick game tonight. I would not be surprised if he signs with the Cowboys in the next couple of days. Do you have any sort of feeling on what he may or may not do? I'm more interested in what he may or may not be able to bring you, because the fact that he is not really like even working out for anybody, he's just like, I promise, please give me my money. And then I promise is a little bit got me kind of going, how about that? Is he going to be able to help at all this year? But I expect him to be a Cowboy at some point this week.
I think not this week. I think Odell still wants that feeling of, I'm going to finish the process. And I have this strange feeling that one more team is going to be a late entry, and it's going to be like, before I make a decision, I'm going to just check out one more location. I don't know where that location is going to be, but I just feel like there's one more team that he may be trying to see if he can draw up some interest from, and then I think he'll make a decision. But like you, it's very weird, and I've said this from the beginning about one, how much can Odell Beckham help you this year? And to kind of tie into the game, I watched last night Michael Gallup attempt to run a route against Stephon Gilmore, who was very long in the tooth himself. Now, Stephon Gilmore ran the route for him, and knew where the route was going. But again, it was just watching him trying to get through this route, and he couldn't quite get through the route the way that you would want a receiver to get through a route. And I'm thinking, like, boy, like we're like 6-7 games in with Michael's coming off an ACL injury, and you still see the limitations in him and his route running, and he's younger, and he doesn't have the second ACL injury on his knee. Our good friend Bobby Belt, he listed out a list of Odell Beckham's injuries since 2017, and they're all on the left leg. It's like an ankle, it's like a broken fibula, and there's 2 ACLs, there's like a quad contusion in there or something like that. So it's like everything that has happened to him has happened on that left leg, and now you're talking about him coming off of that, no training camp, no anything. He's been with no team working out in any physical way to get himself ready to go. And then all of a sudden he's going to sign at the end of this week and be able to help you in a significant way in the next 4 to 5 weeks. I don't know. I'm not well in his ability to, I don't know. I mean, maybe he has some Wolverine in him, but it's just, I find it very hard to believe that the human body will be able to recover in that amount of time and then be able to be a viable receiver in the National Football League, running routes that no one has seen you run in 11 months. Like, if nothing else, if I'm like Jerry, I'm like, hey, listen, we can walk down to the Bank of America right now, get your account set up, get the thing wired over to you, all that kind of good stuff. Give me 12 routes. Give me 12 routes. Give me 12 routes where I can take you on the field right now, run through the route tree. And if that clears, we'll go to the bank. We'll go to the bank. I'll get the money to you right now. But I can't open up the bag to a dude who I did not like. You got to show me something before. Like, nobody gets signed off nothing. Like, nobody gets signed off nothing. No workout, no nothing. I got to see something.
Yeah, and the other thing would be if you are going to end up in I'm not going to call it a bidding war, because with a few teams interested and with what I believe his market is, I'd be stunned if Odell Beckham sight unseen is going to get like a Michael Gallup contract. But if it's any sort of multi-year deal, which allegedly is what he wants, and it's a reasonable amount of money for more than 1 year, this doesn't really matter. It's just a note that goes off in my head. Man, they got no hope for Jalen Tolbert. If they are just like, hey, our 3rd-round rookie, yeah, we're going to have 3 paid wide receivers. Well, they are signing. That is his death warrant before he's even gotten to his 2nd training camp, and that would be weird. So I hope, ideally, that you give him whatever, and it's a per week roster bonus, and there's a giant bonus if we get to the NFC title game. Here's an extra $1.5 million if we win the Super Bowl. Woot woot, and just tied to stuff like that. And that's the way that I hope this thing gets done. But we'll see. We'll be on Odell Beckham watch. The other position that I think the Cowboys got to worry about.
Before we move on, I do want to ask this question. If Jerry Jones called you right now, called you up and he said, Jeff, need to get Odell Beckham to a place that would win him over, but I need you to take him to that place. What is the place that Jeff Cavanaugh is taking Odell Beckham to kind of give him Dallas?
We'd probably go to Arby's.
See? All right.
No, I would take him to see, I'd have to see. Odell said that he's done with the rock star lifestyle. And if that's true, then he would love hanging out with me, because we would just be going to a dive bar. We'd be going to like Ships or Stan's Blue Note. We'd be going to a crappy dive bar, drinking cold beer and watching whatever sport is on that night. And we're going to find out, because if Odell is an old man at heart, me and him are going to go to a real rundown kind of place. We'll be at Milo's, and we're going to have a time. See, because other people, I don't do Dallas the way people with money do Dallas. I don't do it. That's not how I do it. I don't want the music loud. I don't want bottle service. I don't want people that are near me. I want space and the beer to cost less and the roof to be sagging a little bit. And you wonder if it might come down at any moment. That's my kind of place. I'm going to show Odell my Dallas. Huh?
Smell like mildew?
It can. Definitely as you approach the bathroom. Yeah.
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 All right. Well,
I mean, he's got a kid. Maybe he's with that same girl. I don't know. But if he is, he needs to hang out with me.
no, I
And then
just was curious. I wanted to see where you would take him to go to a place.
I think you just Google up the best dive bars in Dallas, and that's where he and I are going to end up. Now, if we want to black out, we might end up at the Old Crow. That'll get dangerous. The Step Up Lounge, always dangerous. But
Because I think about a guy like Odell Beckham, right? Like, what can you show him, right? Like, he's lived in California his entire life, not entire life, but his adult life, and in New York City. Like, you've been in two of the biggest major markets when it comes to the Hollywood type atmosphere. So, what can you basically show him that he hasn't seen?
Well, you just show him that, hey, what was your favorite part about LA? What was your favorite part about New York? Because this is the beauty of DFW. I can do all of them. What did you like? Did you like New York? Cool. Which part? All right, let me go take you to what's like that. Did you like California? Cool. I'll show you what's like that. The only thing I can't offer you is the ocean.
It's the ocean.
That's all I don't have.
That's tough. You know, when he opens up his blinds to his window and it's showing you the Malibu. What is it called? The Malibu set? I don't know.
That's cool. Go play with the Rams. Have fun. No, but I could take him to White Rock Lake, and me and him could get a 2-man kayak, and we could be on the water. We just aren't going to be on the ocean. That's all.
Okay. All right. Just want to see.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to take him. He's going to go to the Maverick game tonight, and then when they're done at the Maverick game, they're going to go to Nick and Sam's.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're done at Nick and Sam's, if he wanted to go somewhere, they'd go to Bottled Blonde or wherever it is that Zeke used to go. I don't know if he still goes hard, but like that, and that would be it. It'd be like, here's our nightlife, here's the steakhouse, here's the Mav game.
What's the other one that's down in Deep Ellum? Is that the Bottled Blonde? Or...
Yeah, Bottled Blonde is in Deep Ellum. Yeah, it's the
okay.
What are the other ones called? Citizen, and I mean, ask Shippy. Our guy Shippy, the DJ of the Stars and Mavs. Yeah. He's trying to kick that lifestyle too, but he still knows where all the people are. So he probably needs to just get with Odell tonight, and they'll get it all figured out.
All
right. From the actual game, Cowboys 16,000, Colts however many they scored. You did lose Anthony Brown, which it's weird because I'll be honest, Anthony Brown hadn't been very good this year, but he is a starting NFL corner, and he has been for 7 years. And you haven't seen anything from a second or a third round pick and Kelvin Joseph and Deshaun Wright that says that you're ready for them to be taking the field and playing snaps in the NFL. But I also don't think that there is a dude on the streets that plays corner, or the NFL would have already money whipped him and he'd be in the league. There's just not enough dudes. So like Deron Bland has been playing for Jordan Lewis and is going to play, and you can feel okay about that because he's shown you I'm out here and you don't hear my name that much. Until last night when you heard his name because he was intercepting every pass and breaking up 2-point conversions. But Kelvin Joseph is going to be in the crosshairs of everyone you play. Like, they're going to come right at you because you're a second-round pick who hasn't been able to get on the field, which means every NFL team knows you have struggled because they've wanted you to have a job and you haven't taken it. We're going to come find you. Are you worried about that?
Yeah, literally last night, Matt Ryan said, who's his number one guy out there? We're throwing the fade ball right now to him. Like, that's literally what happened last night. They found the guy who just entered the game for the guy who just went out, and they threw a fade ball right his way for a touchdown. So it bothers me because while Anthony Brown finds himself in very poor situations with down the field ball skill.
He's bad with his back to the ball.
He really is. I think that's if there's one attribute that Deron Bland gives you, I know that he plays more slot than he does outside, but he has ball skills. Like he kind of almost has Diggs-ish type ball skills where he's saying, if the ball's in my vicinity, I'm going to try to intercept it. Like he understands that feel of how to get his hands on the football and bring it in for an interception. So that's the one good quality that he does have. But playing outside and inside, while most people don't think that's a difference or a change, it really is. And also playing, when you play slot, lot of times you're not playing the entire. You kind of come in and out of the game depending on what personnel that they may put in the game. When you go to outside corner, you're playing every single snap. So and then not having the depth anymore. Every time you lose a man, the depth goes down and down and down and down. And like you said earlier, there aren't that many viable defensive backs just, chilling down at the bottom line saying, when I finish this brew, I'm gonna come holler at you. So that's concerning, especially heading into the playoffs. You don't want to you want to try to close in all of the gaps that you may have had or are having the closer you get to January. And who's to say in the next game Land doesn't go down or Kelvin Joseph doesn't go down. Now you're talking about who is it, Kendall Sheffield? He'll probably be elevated off of the practice squad. He's another one of Dan Quinn's guys from Atlanta that's been on the Cowboys for a couple weeks.
I can give you a wild card. The one wild card I would give you, and I'm terrified of super tall corners. It makes me so uncomfortable because their feet don't move fast enough because they're too tall. But Israel Mukuamu played a little bit in preseason, and that is what he played his last 2 years at South Carolina. If it gets crazy, get ready. You're going to have a 6'5" corner or 6'4" corner. Get some Mukuamu.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily the right move that they want to make.
All right, Parsons.
He probably could play corner. I'm not gonna doubt it. He most definitely could probably play corner.
That was when I knew that Indy was always in trouble, because 2 weeks in a row it's kind of felt like a college game where a team on an NFL Sunday can show up and play with you, but over the course of time, more and more possessions, you just like, oh, yep, sure enough, they're not good enough. When they came out to start the second half and got 3rd and 11 and they were backed up a little bit and they handed the ball off, Indianapolis did, I was like, oh, yep, that's a team that knows your pass rush is too good. We refuse. They basically announced punt on 3rd down, and that was when I knew that game was over. And then there was about 10 more moments where it was over, and then over. But that was the first one where I was just like, oh, yeah, Indy knows. Like, we can't even drop back.
Is there any concern, like even a little bit, that you were only a 2-point lead heading into the fourth quarter with this team?
I guess a little bit, but I just think you do that across the league. And Indy, like Philadelphia had to play a full 60 to beat them.
Right.
And Dallas had to play 38 to beat them. Wait, hold on. What am I doing? 15, 30, whatever. They had to play, is it 12 or 15? I'm drawing a blank on how these games work.
15.
Philly had to play 60. You had to play 47.
47. Yeah.
But yeah, a little bit, because early in the game, Dak guy here, I thought this was probably this might have been Dak's worst game since he got back. And you ended up with 50-something points because you ended up with short fields, and they've been amazing on 3rd downs and in the red zone, number 1 in the league since he got back.
84%.
But man, it seemed like the pass game was a struggle, and he had at least 3 or 4 bad balls, and there's a fine line where you talk about quarterbacks and anticipation, and Dak can anticipate. That's not a problem. But there's a fine line between just blindly believing your guy is going to win and anticipating. Like the Gallup ball, both of them, the slant and the one that I guess you would call that route of comeback, where he wasn't winning. You can't just say, my guy's going to win and just heave the ball out there and see what happens, especially without guys that consistently separate. So, and as usual, they got to the second half and Dak started throwing darts. But yeah, the first half of the game, my concern was, man, the quarterback's not throwing the ball very well, and that's not good. And by the end of it, Pollard had his signature huge play. Dak had his on the run to the right, throw to Gallup for a touchdown, and it was all fine. And you're like, yeah, it's all fine. But yeah, early in the game, I was just like, man, the only really unfortunate thing right now is the quarterback is not playing well, or they would be kicking this team's ass.
Now, do I give the credit? Because I do want to give credit where credit is due. Do I give the credit to Kellen Moore / Mike McCarthy, or do I give it to, sometimes Dak just having a little bit of smell of salt, maybe one of the little locker room hot dogs at halftime and coming back out? But this team has shown that even in their slow starts, they've come out second halves of these football games this year and really been at times a completely different football team. So is that Kellen Moore finally coming to a place where he's like, yeah, I can make adjustments. Yeah, I can, change and do things differently than I've done before. And now this is my way of showing the world that I'm not a one-trick pony, and
I think I tend to give credit to coaching staffs for that. If it feels pretty regular that you go from, all right, it's a battle, what are we going to do here? And then the second half, and it's just like, and now we are way better than you. It's hard to know exactly, but I credit Big Mike. I credit Kellen. I credit Dan Quinn. I think Quinn's was the easiest to pinpoint, where he was just like, we're going full siege. We're coming after Matt Ryan, like, because I know you can't move. And they started blitzing the hell out of him. Like, that one was easier to tell exactly what was different. On offense, right. I don't know that it was like drastically different concepts or anything. It was just, oh yeah, we can do this. And the craziest part was, it seemed like there were so many passing plays that were either bad timing, bad throw, incompletion, had to check it down for 0 yards or 3 yards or whatever. But boy, they get to 3rd and 10, easy money. 1st and 10's hard. 2nd and 10's hard. 3rd and 10, sure, 17 yards, whatever. It just, I don't know how sustainable that is, but being the best 3rd down team and the best red zone team, well, you keep that up, that'll be okay. That'll work out.
And I think there's 2 areas that the Cowboys have significantly grown in, because in years past, they were terrible on 3rd downs and they were subpar in the red zone. You'd be like, what are we doing? We get in the red zone and we don't get touchdowns. We're kicking a bunch of field goals, and that's how we lose in tight games. But they've turned the corner this year significantly. I'll say since Dak has been back, they've gotten in the red zone and been able to just finish their food.
Well, and CeeDee has started being the dude that was one of the best things about him in college was CeeDee was hell after the catch. And in the NFL, he didn't start off that way. He wasn't really running through tackles. He wasn't, that 3rd and 10 where he caught it on like a 5-yard crosser. And then he's like, whoop, let me work my way back upfield a little bit. Whoop, let me work my way this way. Oh, let you feel me for a second when I'm going to get stopped here at the 3 or 4 yard line. And so he's starting to get some of that going. Gallup on a straight line once again is good on the 3rd and whatever that was when Dak, I think that was 3rd and 10 too, where he's rolling right and got it to him. So yeah, it's nice to have a quarterback where when you get to 3rd and 10, your team isn't dead in the water, because we got to see that for 5 weeks. And I'm not going to talk bad about that quarterback because he went 4-1. Damn it, he kept the season alive. Thank you, Cooper Rush. But it's nice when you get to 3rd and 10 and you don't immediately go make a snack. Like, all right, here comes a 4-yard gain and a punt. So life is good. Life is good for the Cowboys. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to get to out of this game? Good job, Damone Clark. Good job, Deron Bland.
I think the Cowboys are also getting themselves prepared for Tyron Smith to come back. You saw a bunch of series where Jason Peters was playing left tackle. They kicked Tyler Smith back inside the guard. So they're getting they're not sneakily or quietly, but they're getting those reps in, those live game reps with Tyler Smith in there at guard. I guess they are preparing for Tyler Smith to come back, and it'd be the Smith and Smith left side.
And they tell us how important continuity is, and then in the middle of a game that's still competitive, they play with their offensive line. And I'm like, y'all need to stop lying to me about how important the continuity is when you're willing to swap them out, and then the next drive you swapped them right back. This is the 3rd drive of the game. The game was not over. It was the 3rd drive. And they're like, yeah, let's just do a little bit of this. And that's 2 weeks in a row they've done that. So yeah, I would bet you, if I were a betting man, I don't know if it worries you. Maybe he's been in the league long enough that once he's healthy, you're not worried about it. I bet they want Tyron to be ready for Philly.
Ooh, you think so?
I bet they want to run him out there for Philly.
Yeah, you don't want to run him out there to that. I think you got to get a ramp up game. You got to get one before that. You don't want to.
You would be rushing very quickly if you wanted to get him a warm up game, because isn't Philly 3 out?
2 out. Yeah, third game. Yeah, third game. You got Houston and you got Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think Philly. It's going to be he opens his practice window maybe this week at some point.
Yeah.
And then I think you get him. I think he's going to be back for Philly.
Ooh.
Because that's just because that's sexy.
Yeah.
That's sexy.
Okay.
Because then you don't have Connor McGovern trying to block Javon Hargrave or Jordan Davis or Fletcher Cox or anybody else on Philly. You're like, hey, Tyler Smith, you go wrestle them big boys.
Linval Joseph. I think we got everything right there, man. We can prepare ourselves for next week.
All right, rock and roll. Remember, the Cowboys are going to win by 100 this week, so that's good. We are Believe in the Dallas Cowboys, presented by Bet Online. Thank you guys for being here. That's former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley. Which way? That way. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh. Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.